President Trump pushing crypto just days after it was revealed he made more than $1 billion from it last year, including more than $600 million alone from the crypto meme coin named after Trump.
I've become a big crypto guy only for one reason. If we don't have it, China's going to have it. I'm very much for crypto because it's not a question of a personal thing.
But it is personal for Trump. He has made massive profits from crypto. But some of his biggest supporters who invested in Trump's meme coin have gone broke, even as Trump is minting money. Out front now, Dan Alexander, senior editor at Forbes, who does extensive reporting on Trump and his finances. You know, and Dan, and part of this is that even when the coin loses value, even just the trade back and forth, right? Trump makes money off of that, whereas the person who's trading it and losing just loses. I know you've talked to several people, some of whom were Trump supporters. That's why they bought the meme coin, right? They believed in him, and they've lost a lot of money after investing in the meme coin. What did they tell you?
Well, you know, many of them are really disappointed right now. One of the funny things that they told me is that they went to these meme coin dinners or events. And at the first one, you know, it was outside of Washington, D.C. at his golf club in Virginia.
I remember that one.
And they said it was kind of like a wedding full of crypto bros, you know, and people were all just talking about crypto stuff. And it was random things were happening. You know, a billionaire gets on stage, who's not Trump, and starts selling Trump watches. And Lamar Odom, the former basketball player, is walking around. And one guy says that the service is no good. He really wanted soda and all he could get was water. So just sort of this funny mix up of like glamour and really not glamour. And then there's a second event that just happened in April at Mar-a-Lago. And at that one, they sort of worked out some of the wrinkles. They had shuttles taking everybody in, and they gave out goodie bags to the attendees. And a lot of people got really, really excited about these goodie bags because of what they contained in them. Some of them had Trump-branded watches that people were really excited about. They also had bottles of cologne that were in like little mini golden Donald Trump statues. And people were so pumped about all this stuff that they started stealing each other's bags. Like somebody would stand up and another person would go under their chair, grab a bag, walk out. But the thing that is with these events, the point is just to get people excited about trading this stuff. And the more trades that happen, the more fees kick off to Donald Trump. He knows that, which is why, even though he's president, he's willing to take the time to do something like go to his golf club or to Mar-a-Lago and host all of his meme coin holders.
Interesting, in the grab bags, there were the little fake gold statues of Trump. That was new. That's new information to me. Okay, so you talk about this, how he makes money on the trades, even as if the overall value goes down, right? And the people who bought it, they lost. So you then, Dan, went and dug into some other ventures, Melania's meme coin, as well as Don Jr. and Eric's crypto business, where some Trump fans have also lost huge. What did you find there?
Well, it's a consistent pattern across these ventures. And if you add them all up, the Trump family has cashed out at this point already like $1.9 billion. And they're up about $3.1 billion in terms of how much it's lifted their net worth. Meanwhile, their supporters collectively are down, we estimate, $7 billion. All of these things are structured so that then the Trumps do really, really well. And even if the assets collapse at the end, they're still left with a huge pile of money.
How does that happen, where they lose, just keeping this up on the screen, where the Trump family can make $3.1 billion while everyone else that believed in them, they're obviously, most of these people are going to be core supporters, lose $7 billion?
It happens in a couple of different ways. The first is that Trump just sells a lot of this stuff out front. So for example, with the World Liberty Financial tokens, you know, they were selling this stuff for large amounts of money and collecting most of the proceeds of that right at the get-go. The other thing that's happened is that they've taken companies public, and those companies, when they're on the public exchanges, attract massive valuations. They've then used those huge valuations to dump more stock upon retail investors and then purchase other things, mostly Bitcoin, so that then as that ratio between sort of the underlying holdings and the myth that people have in their head closes, they're still left with a big pile of assets at the end, which means that they still end up because they invested hardly anything into these things at the outset, even though people who got in at the peak are way down.
Now, Trump has dismissed concerns that he's profiting off the presidency. And today he took it a step further with this brag about crypto corruption investigations.
They were putting people in jail What they were doing to the crypto was horrible. It's amazing it survived that onslaught. It was a weaponization of government. So now I'm killing Biden. I'm winning by so much. And all of a sudden he becomes totally pro-crypto. They dropped all investigations of everybody. They allowed people to come out of jail. And every time I see a crypto guy where they dropped an investigation, I said, you're lucky I'm president.
He's bragging there about a lot of people who are tied to crypto, who he has already pardoned. He's only been in office for a year. Perhaps the biggest one is the founder of Binance, known as CZ. That company now is actually very involved in a lot of different things. But one of the pieces of reporting over the last several months, according to the Journal and the New York Times, is that Binance still now looks like they've allowed money to go to Iran through their platforms. So the president is bragging about this turnabout when he's profiting, but also some of these people were put in prison for real reasons, and now they seem to not have changed their tune.
Well, I think the president has changed his tune on cryptocurrency, right? There's no doubt about that. He was very much against it, calling it a scam, and he has switched. Part of the context behind that is that he believes that not embracing cryptocurrency gives China a leg up on this. We can debate whether or not that's accurate. I think it's probably more accurate than not. But I think his comment, I didn't necessarily take it as bragging that we're releasing criminals from jail. I think it was more the allegation that the Biden administration was overtly tough on cryptocurrency when we didn't actually have very many standards or laws in place. We have the Clarity Act right now that we can have a large debate as to whether or not we have to put in place some more restrictions and oversight, which I think we absolutely do. But I think that was the context in the greater scheme of the conversation he was having today.
No, President Trump is very clear. He has benefited off crypto.
Yep.
100%. And while we have seen that most Americans, 1 million Americans, have not, I was at the Justice Department when we brought the charges against Binance and the CEO. Not only did we bring charges, but they pled guilty. We were not weaponizing anything. They pled guilty to charges, including paying $4 billion. And exactly what Abby just described here about using the platform for potentially funding Iran is exactly what we were worried about. And exactly how they could not say how they were going to crack down on that. And there's also anti-money laundering allegations, et cetera. And so the problems that the Justice Department, the federal government felt that were not in the U.S. interest and that broke our federal laws are actually now playing out before Donald Trump's eyes because he is the one who pardoned them.
And I think also it's an incomplete story that the whole China thing. This is from 2025 in the AP. Trump began to shift during a crypto event at Mar-a-Lago in Florida in May of 2024, receiving assurances that industry backers would spend lavishly to get him reelected. Another major milestone came last June when Trump attended a high-dollar fundraiser at the San Francisco home of David Sacks. Those close to Trump, including his sons and billionaire Elon Musk, helped further push his embrace of the industry. Sacks is now in the Trump administration as his crypto czar. And I also would add that some of these pardons that we were just talking about, the path to the pardon also involves money for Trump's political ambitions. So there's the private money that they're making hand over fist on crypto, and it's not like investing in crypto companies. It's literally meme coins, which are meaningless. And then there's also the political money at the same time as well.
I'm a big defender of the presidential pardon power, mostly because a lot of people don't realize there is essentially no lever. I mean, you probably know very well. There's no lever at the federal level to, serve as a check on overzealous prosecutions. But he makes it very difficult to defend, and I understand why a lot of people want reform. I mean, just about crypto broadly, according to his most recent financial report, he's executed about 4,000 trades in 3 months, including with companies that really want to stay in his good graces. I don't understand how that couldn't be a conflict of interest.
I mean, how is it not, Pete?
Look, I'm going to be very clear where I stand on crypto. I've said it here before, but being pro-crypto is being anti-American. If we are in competition with China, we should stay as far away from crypto as possible. If we want our currency, the U.S. dollar, to remain the reserve currency of the world, we need to get out of crypto. If we want to maintain sanction power, we need to get out of crypto. As we've been talking about, terrorists, criminals. What do? They use crypto. That's how they operate. Why would we want anyone to be a part of this? And I feel sorry for none of these million people who lost money. They fell for a scam. Crypto is a scam from top to bottom. The way it works is the people who buy the crypto realize it's a scam and then say, crap, I need to tell everyone to get in so I can make my money back. And those suckers
are you acknowledging that this is a scam?
Yes.
That was predicated by the president of the United States?
It's a scam predicated by a lot of people who get into this business.
The number one person is the president.
They decided to get in because you make a boatload of money on the transaction side of it.
Yeah, that's the president and his family.
Yeah, and they made money, as Jason acknowledged. They made money.
I'm just
There's
wondering,
no denying or dismissing
what's the next
that.
step from that? So the president and his family scammed 1 million people and profited
and put this country in a worse position as a result of it.
$600 billion, not including the amount that they have earned from the sale of their crypto company, which was really only created knowing that this presidency was coming up. What's the recourse then? What do you think it should be?
Well, the recourse is if Congress feels there should be a recourse, then they should put some laws into place. We should have regulations in place. We don't actually know what crypto is right now. Is it a currency? Is it a security? Is it a commodity? Is it a collectible? And if you don't know what it is, why are you investing in it in any way, shape, or form? So the government needs to figure that out.
I think there might be a generational divide on crypto. I have a lot of people in my friend group that are much more comfortable with it. I think that we can have conversations about Clarity Act and regulating it. I don't think we should just delete it just because the president doesn't know how to operate with it.